Sergei Bobrovsky has been playing insane between the pipes. And what's more insane is how the Hurricanes have been trying to get into his head. And will Brad Marchand get some retribution for the cheap shot of the puck at him by Ghostisbehere? And can the Panthers defense stay as solid as they've been and really hold down the fort and stop this Carolina Hurricanes offense from putting the puck in the back of the net? They've done a great job in game one. Can they do it in game two? I believe they will be able to do it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. Hit that subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date with anything and everything that has to do with your defending Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers. Man, tonight I'm excited. I cannot wait. I really think the Panthers are going to come out flying in this one. I think they know this Carolina Hurricanes team very well. They know what to look forward to. They know they're going to be physical. But the one thing I want to really pick at here is how they have been so physical with Bobrovsky by crashing the net, trying to get into his head after the play by hitting him. And we're going to get into a couple of insane things that have happened. And I think the Panthers will be a little more fired up tonight to defend Bobrovsky after the play. And I know the Hurricanes are doing this because they're trying to draw penalties on the Panthers. And they've done a great job of not being enticed in. Excuse me, that's my son back there. Sorry, guys. But I know they've been trying to entice players into trying to get into fisticuffs, things like that. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But they've done a great job not doing it. But they have to stand up for their goalie, who was on his butt so many times in that first game, half dozen or more. And I saw a couple of times where Hurricanes players fell on top of him, and I thought Bobrovsky broke his leg. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. What's going to happen? Vanecek's going to come in. I mean, Vanecek's not terrible. He's a good backup, but if Bob is out, we're in trouble. But anyways, Bob has been great. He has 1.5 goal against average in his last two, .943 save percentage, and he's stopped 50 of 53 shots. He's been great. He's been nothing short of absolutely incredible in these last two games, and I think he's just going to get more comfortable between the pipes, but he needs to get help from his defense still, and he's been getting that. I said that in the last episode. So Bob needs to just keep doing what he's doing. Nothing's got to change, but I think the defense needs to do a better job of standing up for Bobrovsky because of plays like this. I'm like shocked that there was nothing called on this play. Right here, guys. Knee, hip, knee came up too. One more time. Watch this. And stop. Here he comes with the knee. Watch. There's Bobrovsky's head going back into the jersey, back into his padding. And then there goes the knee coming up and follow through. One thing that I read, there was a neurosurgeon who actually posted something on social media that stated he got a little bit of a red flag after that play happened because he saw Bobrovsky shake his head, which is usually a sign of some sort of joggling of the brain, a little mild concussion, something along those lines. So he said, something should have been done. The referee should have noticed it, or the trainers from the Florida Panthers should have noticed it and said something, but he stayed in the game. He played great. I bring this to your attention because of this play, which we all remember right here. Which one is worse? That last clip or this one? A knee to the head. Which one's worse? I know there were no penalties were called on either play. The NHL didn't discipline either player. I get it. But I bring it up because of this. Because of this, guys. Rule number 50.1. Kneeing is the act of a player leading with his knee and in some cases extending his leg outward to make contact with the opponent. I would say he was leading with his knee there pretty clearly. It's just I just can't. I have no words right now because I just can't believe that nothing was called on that. Bobrovsky clearly covered up the puck. Clearly did. I mean, look at this. He covered up the puck. It's already covered right there. You can see his hands on top of it in that bottom right of your screen. Guy comes through. Look, I mean, that's clear as day. He could have stopped. He didn't need to keep going through it. What happened? Okay, but again, it's opinion. I'm just going through the rule book, and I was like, okay, what are we looking at here? I think it was a knee. I think the referees missed it. Obviously, there has been no discipline. Nobody's really been talking about that. But They were getting really physical. They were trying to get in Bob's head that whole entire game. And Bob stood tall. He was a wall. I'm not trying to rhyme. That just happened. But he's been great. And he's just got to keep doing what he's doing. But those guys on defense, when they're on the ice and that happens, you really got to stick up for your goaltender and do some face washing. Get in those guys' face. Tell them, you don't touch my goalie. Come on, man. Stand up for Big Bob. He's been doing you guys so great between the pipes and stopping so many big shots in big time moments. Stick up for your goaltender, guys. Please. Please. So, anyways, let's get back to some more stuff here. So, the Florida Panthers have been great on the road. We've seen that. And guys, I'm going to clarify, when I said that they stole game one, they did, because the Carolina Hurricanes were undefeated at home before the Panthers beat them in game number one. And I don't think anybody saw the Panthers running away with that game number one victory 5-2. I think everybody saw it being closer in the beginning, but they stole home ice advantage. They definitely did. I don't care if you win 10-0 or whatever it might be. They stole home ice advantage easily. They did it with incredible numbers and just made the Hurricanes look like, I don't know, I don't even want to say anything really derogatory about them because they are a very solid team, but they just got outplayed, outhandled, outrushed, outshot, out everything. Don't even pay attention to the stat sheet, guys. Just watch the game. Just watch the game. The physical aspect of it was even on both sides, even though to me it felt like bigger hits by Carolina. But I think tonight what will happen, the Panthers are going to turn over things and revamp everything back up to where it was in game number one, be as physical as they were. And I think they're going to try to be a little bit more of that hockey psychology to get into the heads of the Carolina Hurricanes players and take game number two, so that way they can maybe close out the series and sweeping again like they did in 2023. I really think that could happen. And I'm going to say this. I do think Tkachuk is finally going to have a goal. He hasn't had a goal. He's had a bunch of assists, but he's had no goals. His last one was April 26th against Tampa Bay. That was game number 3 of the first round. He hasn't had a goal yet. Some of you guys are like, oh, what would you say? Where is Tkachuk? I'm saying, where is he in terms of he hasn't been scoring goals? Yes, he has been passing great. He's got some great assists. Yes, but that hockey IQ that he has, that hockey psychology that he uses when he's on the ice, much like Marchand does, he gets out there and tries to get in the heads of his opponents. And I just don't feel like we're seeing the same Tkachuk out there that we've seen in the past before the injury. To me, it seems like something is still bothering him. He's not at 100%, but he's still putting himself out there because he's still a body. That IQ still works for him. He's a great player. I'm not downing anything about him. I'm just saying something just seems off with Tkachuk lately. It does. Yeah, he's getting into scrums a little bit, but he's not as fiery as he's been. Yeah, on the bench he is, but when he's out on the ice, I'm just seeing a little bit different of a player. I think tonight is going to be his breakout night. I think something is going to go just click with him on his line, and he's going to get that first goal, and I think he's also going to get an assist. I think he's going to get 2 points tonight. He's going to ramp things up. He's going to find that mojo back again. All right, guys, so Panthers are a great road team. 38 road goals so far in this postseason, which ties them with Colorado in 2022. That is most ever for a team in their first 8 road games. 38 goals. And they're 17-4, outscoring their opponents in their last 3 road games, and they've won each one of those games. They've been great on the road, and I think they're going to do it again tonight. I really do. Another thing that I want to point out to you guys, Aaron Ekblad, his goal in game number 1, well, that makes it 12 goals for the Florida defenseman. That's a big number for defense. They have 17 guys on this roster that have scored goals. That's more than any other team on the ice right now that are still in the playoffs. This team is a team. I hate to say he's so... there is no I in team for this team, guys. They play great, cohesive hockey together, and you are starting to really see it in these last few games. Yes, I know Game number 6, they lost on home ice against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I get it, but to me, that wasn't. It was a 2-0 loss. It wasn't that horrible to say, man, they just got blown out of the water that bad. They've been playing very solid in their last 3 to 4 games. I'm not going to get into the semantics and all the stats and stuff, but we're going to keep moving on, guys. So, Carolina, like I said, undefeated at home since, but before the loss in game 1 to the Florida Panthers. They were playing phenomenal, and I think Florida has just had their number. I think Paul Maurice and his genius behind the bench just knows how his guys rack up against the Carolina Hurricanes. He knows who to put against who. He's such a phenomenal coach. That's why he is a legend. That's why this team has been so successful. We do have a lot of talent. Yes, we're a deeper team. We're a better team. We're going to see it tonight, and there's going to be a runaway, I think, tonight. I think they're going to stick up and just keep doing what they did in game number 1. I'm going to call this one probably a 4-1 victory. Let's hope it stays that way. But I do think Carolina is going to come out there just blazing right from the get-go, right as soon as the puck hits the ice. They're going to come out and try to be as physical as they can. I think they're going to try to push Bobrovsky again and get this team to try and get the Panthers a little more agitated, maybe get them to draw some more penalties. And we're going to talk about another thing in just a second. But I think their defense is really going to stand up tonight and play even better than they did in game number 1. Maybe even have a shutout. I don't know. But it's really going to come down to, can they keep Aho at bay? Can they keep that first line of Carolina away from getting close to the net near Bobrovsky? If we're shooting from the outside and not getting screened too much, I really like our chances, and we're blocking shots. I've said it again. Blocking shots, better face-off percentage. That's a recipe where this team for the Panthers is going to have great success, even though the face-off percentage wasn't great in game 1. So, one thing I want to talk about outside of what we were going through here. So, all of the stuff that I was going through, I don't have the video here, but the Brad Marchand, Ghostisbehere scuffle in the third period, Ghostisbehere deliberately shot the puck at Marchand because Marchand tried to get a shot at Ghostisbehere up against the boards. Marchand missed. Ghostisbehere was not happy with that. So instead of getting in his face and just talking to him and trying to settle it with fisticuffs right there, he got possession of the puck and deliberately aimed it at Brad Marchand. If you guys go back, look at the video, it hits Brad Marchand in the arm deliberately. It was a deliberate shot with intent to injure. 100%. He wasn't clearing the puck. He clearly shot it at him at point blank range. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. This is not in the NHL rule book. It is in the USA Hockey rule book. Rule 602. Okay? Here it is. Sorry, it's my son in the background. Rule 602. Attempting to injure or recklessly endanger an opponent. This includes trying to shoot the puck at them with deliberate intention to harm the opponent and injure them. Match penalty. It is not in the NHL rulebook. They do not have a rule for this, but it was egregious, and he was using the puck as a weapon to hurt Marchand. The league should look into it. They should definitely do something about this. I'm not saying suspend him. A suspendable offense, not necessarily. Fine him, yes. Clearly, if you look at the play from where it started with Marchand trying to hit and he missed, Ghostisbehere was not happy with it. So instead of getting in his face, he decided to take the puck and shoot it at him with deliberate intent to harm. The NHL needs to do something about this. The NHL player safety, Department of Player Safety needs to do something. Fine him $5,000, whatever it is. It needs to be done, because had that hit him in the face, what would have happened? Nothing? I was trying to clear the puck. Didn't look anything like he was trying to clear the puck at all. He was aiming it clearly right at Marchand with the intent to hurt him. And that's insane that nothing was called there except on Brad Marchand. A 10-minute misconduct, which the refs totally got wrong. It should have gone the other way, I think, if they were going to do anything. Not necessarily a 10-minute misconduct. Again, the rule book doesn't have anything that states clearly that if you are shooting the puck with the intent to harm or injure another player, there's nothing in there. I looked in the rule book. I found this. So anyways, guys, Tonight's game, I think, is going to be a raucous one. It's going to be loud in that arena. I think the Panthers are going to show up because I think they love the atmosphere of being on the road. Yes, they love being at home, don't get me wrong, but they love when they quiet the crowd. There's nothing like that sound. It is great, and they love it. And I think this defense is going to step up. Bob is going to be great. Tkachuk's going to have his first goal in a long time. And I think this defense is just going to be the D-men, I should say, are going to be stepping up big. I love how Jones has been playing, how Ekblad has been playing. Forsling's been incredible. I mean, this whole team has been nothing short of a championship-looking team. They've been great, and I think it's just going to get better for them moving forward in this series and moving on, hopefully, to the Stanley Cup Finals. But we got to go one game at a time, guys. One game at a time. Let's see what happens tonight. I'm excited. Go Cats. Talk to you guys tomorrow.